everybody and welcome to Markus Divinus wine episode. This time I'm going to do the episode in English. Mom have asked me to actually do this in English so they could understand the word what I was saying. Today, as you can see, we're at the winery itself. We're in level -2, practically for those who were around here with us 2-3 years ago. We used to host some tastings here with friends of ours, and also some of you who are wine enthusiasts followed us and tasted our wines here. Now we renovated this place. We dug in about 6 meters deep, and this is the -2 cellar at Markus Divinus. Here is where all the wine will be resting in oak, both new and used. We have the -1, which is dedicated for controlled temperature fermentation, and we have the ground floor where we're used to see. The place itself is going to be used for practically doing wine events, wine tastings. So I hope to see you guys. Whoever do not know who I am Mark, winemaker for Markus Divinus. I've been doing this for quite some time now, since 2004. This is the first vintage we've vinified here at Zafrana Dingli. Hopefully we'll have more to come. We also have planted some new vineyards, Leuza, which is the indigenous grape, so the Girgentina, which is also indigenous to the Maltese islands. Today I'm going to discuss a little bit wine which is very particular for Markus Divinus. Its name is Grezz. Okay, I'm going to be tasting Grezz 2018. Practically Grezz is the name of my beloved grandmother. Actually died before I actually was born. She had the passion working the fields. She owned actually a very small field in Dingley. Planted the first vineyard in her field when I started actually doing the winemaking. This was back in 2004, where we planted some Syrah in this field, and obviously I understood a little bit better what goes in the actual winemaking itself, rather than just calling the farmer to get us the grapes. Getting some hands-on practices of viticulture itself. Predominantly, the grape varietal for Grezz for 2018 was Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is grown very close here in Dingley. It's actually walking distance, very close also to the Dingley Cliffs. Very particular selection of Cabernet Sauvignon. Very mature, however the vine itself does not produce much fruit. We're always harvesting around 1.5 kilos per vine, so very little quantity of grapes from the vines themselves. The Cabernet Sauvignon of this field is in red soil, in terra rossa. The farmer who works these vines does a fantastic job with the Cabernet Sauvignon. On the other hand, we have Merlot, okay, which is giving this wine a lot of acidity and structure. It's almost the other way around of the Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay, in our case, the Merlot here, especially in Malta, in the field where we get this Merlot, it does not give the soft elements to the wine, but it gives more structure, acidity, and tannins to the wine rather than the Cabernet Sauvignon. Both of them are fermented differently. We usually start with the harvest of Merlot. Okay, it's the first one to ripen here in Malta, and also in other parts of the globe. Usually Merlot is the first to harvest, And secondly, then there's the Cabernet Sauvignon, which is at the last of the harvest season itself. Some of the people, some of the farmers would prolong or actually harvest in advance to retain acidity or to ripen the grape itself. So I'm going to open the 2018 Grezz. In terms of percentages here, we are looking at 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot. I'm going to use a big glass, usually used for Bordeaux style of wine. It's one of the biggest glasses we use from Riedel. I'm going to use this big glass because this is a relatively new wine. So as soon as you open this wine, when it's still very young, it needs quite a lot of oxygen to open up, and you can enjoy then the aromas of the both varieties. So the nose immediately gives you a sense of from the fruit itself. Is as if this wine has been just pressed, you know, and you're smelling it from the fermentation vats. I get a lot of notes of black currants coming from the Cabernet Sauvignon, and also plums from the Merlot, and a little bit of hint of oak, which in this case is new French oak. So as I'm telling you, the wine will open up as you swirl the glass. The idea of swirling the glass is not to show how cool you are and how fast you are in agitating the wine, but it's to air it up and give it as much oxygen as possible. A wine like this is advisable as well to taste it as soon as you open the bottle, to see exactly how that taste is when opening the bottle, and then you can assess whether to decant it or not. Okay, it's not a rule to just open a bottle and decant the bottle because it's young or because it's a certain wine or a certain grape. So first thing you do, you open the bottle, see if the actual cork itself has any taints or any significant problems. If not, by smelling it, obviously, you taste the wine, you smell it, you taste it, and then you assess whether to actually decant it or not. So don't just go for immediate decanting, because some of the wines will not benefit from the decanting itself. This wine in 5-10 years time, it will be much more pleasurable to drink than today. So the palate is standing high acidity. The high acidity is coming in this case from the Merlot grapes, okay, which are harvested at around pH 3.4, which is very acidic, and they retain approximately about 6 grams to 6.5 grams per liter of acidity in the grapes itself when harvested, with an alcohol level percentage of around 15%. So this particular Merlot, to my opinion, has a lot of potential for aging. Whereas the Cabernet Sauvignon, on the other hand, it's giving the fruit, the black currants, both varieties go to an extended maceration, with the case of the Cabernet Sauvignon, which has a thicker skin, goes for an extended maceration, and that will give the wine a softer feel to the tannins themselves. You know? So instead of extracting too much with an extended maceration, the skins itself, they will start softening the tannins. Again, because it's very young, get an explosion of fruits in your mouth. The oak is there, but it's not interfering with the freshness and the acidity and the tannins of the fruit. The wood is contributing to the vanilla aspect or any other aspects that come from the wood itself, but it's not interfering too much with the wine. I would say that this wine is going to age for approximately 15 more years. In about 6 years, this wine will develop even better aromas, and it will be more enjoyable than it is today. Okay, because this is very early. We're drinking this wine. We're assessing this wine, not necessarily meaning that this wine has to be drunk today. Then you have to combine this with red meats, with stews, with something a little bit heavy on your palate, so actually the wine itself can interact quite well with the food you are presented. So it's not a wine that you open up and just have a drink in a party. It's more a wine to have with food, with the ideal match. Okay, I'm gonna pour myself another glass of this, and then I'll do an assessment practically on Grezz 2019. Okay, so what to expect 2019 was resting in the barrel. We have Merlot from 2019 in second year French oak resting. This is 100% Merlot of the vineyard I told you about, which is actually retaining a lot of freshness and acidity, and also high sugar levels, and also a new French oak, which is with 100% Cabernet Sauvignon wine. It will be blended together, and it goes back to the oak for resting few more months till it's bottled. Usually Grezz takes approximately 20 months of oak. Okay, sometimes we give less, sometimes you get more, depending on the vintage of that particular year. So I'm gonna do the assessment, and we'll discuss the assessment as well of 2019. So now I'm gonna take the 50-50 and blend both wines together. So recap. Merlot. We introduce as much as possible oxygen here to get this wine to perfectly blend. So here we have 2019 versus 2018. Okay, this is bottled Grezz 2018 versus what I just took from the barrel itself. And the nose, I must say, there's more rusticity in the 2019 than the 2018. The 2018 nose is very fresh. There's a lot of fruit. Now it's opened up even more, standing in the glass, decanted in the glass itself. There's a big glass. The aromas here are more in harmony. Obviously, this is just taken from the barrel. This will evolve even further, but as of today, the nose compared to 2018 is more rustic, has more a classic style to it than the 2018. So 19, for those who like the rustic style of wines, it's their piece of cake. On the palate, it's quite big. The tannins so far are very evident. The acidity, it kicks in as well, and it's still very harsh, but it's showing that this wine has a lot of potential. So 2019 Grezz is as powerful. It has also a rustic element to the wine itself, predominantly coming from the Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. Okay, so they're giving that sort of influence, whereas the Merlot, they're giving the freshness, the fruitiness. So both combined together make this style of wine, which I'm eventually after in creating. So thank you once again for following this this wine appreciation of Markus Divinus wines. The intention is to open up our doors once this is all over, this COVID-19 worldwide problem. So actually, once this is all over, we'll definitely welcome you to visit our new winery, to also taste our wines, appreciate what we have been doing. By the way, the wines we do, quantities we do, are relatively small. 2018 Grezz produced 590 bottles only, so we're talking of just 2 barrels. Okay, so a lot of work goes in these 2 barrels, both from a viticulture point of view, and I have to thank the farmers obviously for that, for their very hard work in cultivating the land. Few kilos of grapes and making these wines, which are very close to our hearts. So hopefully we'll see you here at Zafrana Estate. Keep safe, drink good wine. If you need some advice on that, message us. Be safe. Cheers.